Okay, so a few things we're going to need first to start this project is we're going to need some solder and solder sucker so we can suck off the solder off of the board here to remove the components that are bad, and a solder gun and something to clean off the solder gun with, such as something like this so we can prep it. So what I'll do is I'll just take my solder gun here and I'll clean it first clean it off in here. Then what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of solder and prep the tip of my solder gun. So there's a tip there, and I'm just going to prep it. So the smoke you're seeing is that flux. This particular solder has flux in the center core, and the flux is what's going to help it, the solder quickly bond to the board and bond to whatever components you're putting on or taking off, for that matter. So this is the bad capacitor right here. That's the part I want to remove. So I'm going to flip it over here and locate where that capacitor is. So it looks like the connection points for this particular one are this point here and this point right here. So you can see this point here and this point right here. So I'm going to heat it up and use my solder sucker gun here. That's what it sounds like. Prep this again, put a little more solder on the tip. I'm going to heat it up and remove that solder. Takes a few times usually. Heat it up again on the other side. Suck it out. I usually do it about twice. This one looks like it still has a little on it. Okay, so that looks like that's removed there. Set my solder gun down. Alright, so I'm going to flip it back over, and it should be loose enough for me to remove. It's probably a little warm from heating it up, but there it is. So that's the capacitor. What I'm going to do is try to find another capacitor, ideally the exact type of capacitor, and replace it. So I noticed on the other side of the board though that when the capacitor did blow, that it affected the trace lines going over to a few other components on the board here, like right here. So I'm going to clean this all up as well and put the copper lines in there I was talking about and see what we're going to get. So I'm going to pause this here.